Compound verbs and words. Compound words in English are formed when two or more words are combined to create a new word with its own meaning. These words can be made up of different combinations of nouns, verbs, adjectives, or other parts of speech. Closed compound words. The words are joined together without spaces, forming a single word. Examples: sunflower, football, notebook. Hyphenated compound words. The words are linked together with a hyphen. Examples: mother-in-law, well-being, six-pack. Open compound words. The words are written separately but are used together to convey a specific meaning. Examples: ice cream, high school, living room. Understanding compound words. Meaning. The meaning of a compound word often comes from the combination of the individual words, but the resulting word can sometimes have a more specific or new meaning. For instance, blackboard refers to a chalkboard, which is not just a board that is black. Usage. The type of compound word can change based on context or usage over time. Some words may start as open compounds but eventually evolve into closed forms. E.g., basketball became basketball. Closed compound words are often formed from two or more nouns or an adjective and a noun, creating a single, solid word. Over time, some combinations that start as separate words or hyphenated become closed due to frequent usage. Notebook. Combines note and book to mean a book for taking notes. Firefly. Combines fire and fly to describe a glowing insect. Grandmother. Merges grand and mother to refer to a female grandparent. Hyphenated compound words are linked with a hyphen and usually occur in specific cases where clarity or readability is necessary. Mother-in-law, a person related by marriage. Well-being, a state of happiness or health. Two-thirds, a fraction. Hyphenated compound words. These words are linked with a hyphen and usually occur in specific cases where clarity or readability is necessary. Evolution. Some compounds like website or airplane started as hyphenated, website, airplane, or open, website, airplane, but now are solid words due to their frequent usage. Hyphen usage. Adjectival compounds. Many compounds are hyphenated when they function as adjectives before a noun. For example, well-known author or long-term project uses a hyphen to show that the adjectives modify the noun as a unit. Avoiding ambiguity. Hyphens help avoid confusion in reading. Compare small business owner. Could be a small owner of a business. Versus small business owner. Owner of a small business. Open compound words. These are two or more words that are not joined together but are treated as a single concept. Over time, some open compounds may evolve into hyphenated or closed forms as their usage becomes more common. Ice cream. A sweet, frozen treat made from cream and sugar. Real estate. Refers to property or land. Living room. A room in a house for relaxing or socializing. Open or closed. Some compounds remain open due to convention, such as high school, whereas others, like haircut, become closed. There is often no hard and fast rule, and dictionaries or common usage help guide the correct form. How compound words function. New meanings. Often, the meaning of the compound word differs from the simple combination of its individual parts. For example, butterfly doesn't describe butter and flies. It's the name of a specific insect. Part of speech. Compound words can function as nouns, adjectives, or verbs depending on how they are used. Nouns. Toothpaste, noun, is the substance for cleaning teeth. Adjectives. Long-term, adjective, describes something that lasts for a long time, like a long-term plan. Verbs. To babysit, verb, means to care for children temporarily. Compounds and grammar. The placement and form of compound words can affect the overall structure of a sentence. Hyphenated compounds, especially when used as adjectives, need careful placement to avoid grammatical confusion. Frequency and adaptation. Language is fluid, so compounds change over time. For instance, email was once written as email, and some newer compounds are still in transition, e.g., healthcare versus healthcare. Tricks for learning compound words. Context clues. If you're unsure whether a compound should be open, hyphenated, or closed, check how it's commonly used in formal writing or in reputable dictionaries. Consistency. In formal writing, stick with one form throughout the text to maintain consistency. Hyphenation rule. When in doubt with adjectives, hyphenate compounds used before a noun, e.g., well-known figure. But don't hyphenate them if they follow the noun, e.g., the figure is well known. Compound verbs are verbs that are made up of two or more words that function together as a single verb. Like compound nouns or adjectives, compound verbs combine the meanings of individual words to create a new action or meaning. There are several types of compound verbs, and they can be formed in different ways. Prepositional verbs. These verbs consist of a main verb followed by a preposition. The preposition alters the meaning of the main verb to create a distinct action. Examples: look after, to take care of, e.g., I look after my younger brother. Run into, to encounter or meet unexpectedly, e.g., I ran into an old friend. Give up, to stop trying or surrender, e.g., he gave up smoking. Note: in prepositional verbs, the meaning often shifts from the literal combination of words. For instance, look after doesn't mean simply look and after, but rather care for. Phrasal verbs. These are verbs made up of a main verb and one or more particles, usually prepositions or adverbs. The particle changes the meaning of the original verb significantly. Examples: turn off, to stop the operation of something, e.g., turn off the lights. Pick up, to collect or lift something, e.g., can you pick up the groceries? Characteristics. Phrasal verbs can be tricky because the meaning is often idiomatic, meaning you can't deduce the meaning just from the individual parts. For example, break down doesn't literally mean to break something into pieces, but rather to stop functioning. Compound verbs with hyphens. These are verbs that are hyphenated to show that two words work together to perform a single action. They are often formed by combining a noun or an adjective with a verb. Examples: double check, to verify something twice, e.g., I'll double check the report before submitting. Proofread, to read and correct mistakes, e.g., she proofreads the document carefully. Note: these compound verbs are usually written with a hyphen when they serve as standalone verbs, but they may not always remain hyphenated in all contexts. Single-word compound verbs. Over time, some compound verbs that start as separate words or hyphenated forms evolve into a single word. Examples: daydream, to engage in a dreamy thought process while awake, e.g., he often daydreams during class. Outrun, to run faster than someone or something, e.g., she can outrun most of her classmates. Placement and separation. One key thing to understand about phrasal verbs and some prepositional verbs is that their components, verb plus particle, can sometimes be separated by an object. This happens in what are called separable phrasal verbs. Turn off the TV / turn the TV off. The verb turn off can be split by its object, the TV. Pick up the kids, pick the kids up. The verb pick up can also be separated by its object, the kids. Inseparable phrasal verbs. Some phrasal verbs cannot be separated and the object always comes after the entire verb phrase. Examples: look after. You cannot say, look the kids after. It must be, look after the kids. Run into. Similarly, you can only say, run into trouble, not run trouble into. Usage of compound verbs. Informal versus informal writing. Phrasal verbs, e.g., put off, give up, tend to be more informal, and you might choose to use a single-word verb or a more formal expression in formal writing, e.g., delay, instead of put off. Verbs like proofread or double check, on the other hand, are neutral and can be used in both formal and informal contexts. 1. Idiomatic meaning. Many compound verbs, especially phrasal verbs, have idiomatic meanings that don't align exactly with their literal meanings. Learning these often involves familiarity with the context in which they're used, rather than understanding from the individual words. Common compound verbs. Fill out. To complete a form, e.g., please fill out this form. Come across. To find something by chance, e.g., I came across an old photograph. Take off. To leave the ground, airplanes, or to become successful, e.g., the plane took off. His business really took off. Conclusion. Compound verbs are essential for conveying more nuanced actions and meanings in English. They can add richness and variety to language, but they also require careful learning, especially when they have idiomatic or non-literal meanings. Mastering them involves both understanding the individual components and recognizing how the combination creates new meanings. Prepositional verbs. When, believe in, to trust in something or someone. Example: I believe in the power of education. Rely on, To depend on someone or something. Example, you can rely on her to be on time. Look at